You know who just stunk up the view. The Bidens joined the View this morning for the entire hour. The audience was caught off guard, but knew something was up when they saw a dozen Secret Service agents and 2 embalmers. There were a few awkward moments, though, when a confused Joe asked if he could bid on the showcase. But was he surprised Kamala lost?
I wasn't surprised because they went the route of the sexist route, the whole route. I mean, this is a woman, she's this, she's that. I mean, it really, I've never seen quite as successful and a consistent campaign undercutting the notion that a woman couldn't lead the country and a woman of mixed race.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, you lying sack of It was mixed drinks, not mixed races. True, though, Joe may be demented, but I guess being a conniving, race-baiting loon is the last thing to go. Biden also trashed Trump, asking why he's going after people's health care.
Why is he going after people's health care and Social Security? Why is he doing that? What possible reason is that?
Joe's obviously confused, but it was worse during the break, you know, when he kept calling Whoopi Regis. The Bidens also addressed his cognitive abilities.
Since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. What is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that.
The people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, you know, reading my book, and he was still on the phone reading his briefings, just working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop.
I can't take it anymore.
Right, Jill. And you're an actual doctor. You know, not one who got her degree off a box of Frosted Flakes. Finally, let's count the anyways.
What about this version? No, Joe, I don't like that. Well, anyway, I told you we were going to get any of that done. None of you would have thought it happened.
Yeah.
Not because negative. I mean, it was, anyway. So when I got in the plane, I went to South Korea. I went to all, anyway.
8.2%
federal
nice
tax.
Things.
Anyway, Secret Service. That's the benefit.
Yeah.
But it also means you're not. Yeah. Anyway, I had a bad night.
Yeah.
And I had, anyway, I don't quite get the anyway.
Hey, that was rough, but it was Joe's first stateside interview since leaving the White House, if you don't count the one with the funeral director. But talk about predictable. Kamala saw the interview and said she wouldn't have done anything different. Larry, that was hard, but you know what? I have no sympathy for him because he may be cognitively a mess, but he's still able to race bait, you know?
Yeah. You know, I just watching this and thinking about it, I don't think anybody in the country really cares about what Joe Biden has to say on any subject at all.
Yeah.
I just don't think so.
No, you're right.
I mean, I'm serious.
They moved on.
He is so much, you know, yesterday's bad dream. And
Yes.
I think I don't want to say anything about his wife. I don't know her. Kamala Harris is the same thing. Who cares what they have to say? Look where they left the country, okay? And there are 100 reasons why Donald Trump is president and Joe Biden was defeated, or Kamala Harris was defeated, whatever. They can give him a book for $30 million or $50 million. Whatever House does that will besmirch and soil their reputation forever. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear this stuff again. It's embarrassing. It's cringeworthy. And he ought to just do us all a favor and stop. Just go stay on the beach. And he's got a nice house, and he got it off the government payroll. God knows how he got his money. And just leave us be, okay? Just leave us be.
Kennedy. This is day 2 of Biden's comeback, and we've talked about it last night. Any new insights from tonight's segment?
Yes, it's day 2 of number 2. And Larry's absolutely right. Like, how did they make their money?
Right.
And, you know, it's like they're hoping for a $30 million deal for his and hers tell-alls. And the only way they're going to make money on it is if she actually tells all.
Right.
And that's what they're banking on, because he can't remember anything. His brains are mush. But, you know, if she actually gives the goods and talks about how much she hates Kamala Harris and what Nancy Pelosi really did and the actual contents of those conversations, hell, I would buy that book.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like, guess what? Democrat progressives, to your point at the beginning of the show, they're illiterate.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy any of this absolute claptrap. And, you know, I thought it was kind of sweet how they were sitting there holding hands. It's not because they're in love. It's because he doesn't want her shoving her hand up his bottom and moving his lips like a Muppet, which is what she did for 4 years.
You know, it's funny. Whenever I get a book, I always look in the index to see if my name's in it. You're going to open up the book and you're just going to see the word anyway, and it's going to say like 1, 2, 3, 4, every single page. Tyrus, did you see Biden's face while she was talking? It was like, I don't know who this woman is.
No, that's, you know what? No, we're not doing this anymore. No. He want to go out there and run his mouth. You know, he is fine. There's no dementia. There's nothing. He is fine. He's absolutely fine. He's just a moron.
Yeah.
That's it. We're no longer, he's just stupid.
Yes.
So now he can be held accountable. Now you can take him to, now he can explain. This is the problem, like, since there's nothing wrong with him, he's just stupid and corrupt. So now, then the little thing we're waiting to hear about, his interview where the man said that he couldn't stand trial. Well, that man was wrong.
Yeah.
He can be held accountable because I think he pardoned everybody but himself. So we can start asking. That's what bothers me about these fake-ass shows like The View. You got the guy on there, and you didn't want to ask him once to explain to you how he thought a pardon for Fauci was a good idea because he couldn't answer it because this was all rehearsed. This was the final dress rehearsal of probably questions that were approved. He had his little cards for, and then when it was Jill's turn to talk, he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because I know, because when I have to sit next to the missus and she talks a lot, I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And one of the moves you do, fellas, is while they're talking, you look down a lot.
Yeah.
And then when you start to go, you can do this.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.